Pirates endured storms, hunger, and constant danger, yet when it came to sleep they had discovered something extraordinary. On those creaking wooden decks, swaying endlessly with the ocean's motion, they found a way to rest more deeply than most of us do even today. Their nightly routines were not accidents of chance. They were survival strategies, born of necessity but perfected through experience. To understand how pirates achieved such restorative sleep, we must dive into their world and uncover the practices that set them apart from every other sailor of their time. The first secret was hidden in their schedules. On naval ships, sailors lived by the bell. Every 4 hours, like clockwork, bells rang to announce watch changes. No matter how deeply a sailor slept, he was yanked from his dreams and forced back into duty. It was a system designed for discipline, not humanity, and it left sailors exhausted, irritable, and prone to deadly mistakes. Imagine trying to rest while an alarm clock shattered your sleep cycles every few hours. That was life aboard a Navy vessel. Pirates rejected this. They abandoned the rigid, punishing structure and created something revolutionary. They built schedules around human nature. Instead of treating sleep as an obstacle to work, they treated it as a weapon for survival. They recognized that different men had different rhythms. Some were naturally sharp and alert during the dead of night. Others were early risers, awake and clear-headed at dawn. Pirates assigned watches accordingly, letting each man work when he was at his best and sleep when his body demanded it. This flexibility meant uninterrupted rest. A pirate could sleep long enough to pass through all the stages of deep sleep, repairing his body, sharpening his mind, and waking refreshed. Naval sailors, by contrast, lived in a fog of half-sleep, never fully resting, never fully waking. It was the difference between sipping a full, rich cup of coffee and sipping only the bitter dregs. But pirates didn't stop there. They allowed naps during the day. To the Navy, sleeping outside your assigned time was an offense punishable by harsh discipline. To pirates, it was common sense. A short nap could mean the difference between spotting an approaching warship and sailing blind into disaster. A crew that was alert and rested was a crew that survived. Smart captains knew this, and rather than enforcing cruel schedules, they encouraged rest when it was needed. The result was loyalty. A captain who let his men sleep was a captain worth fighting for. Watch duties were spread fairly. New recruits handled lighter shifts while learning the ropes. Experienced sailors shouldered the tough overnight watches when navigation was trickiest. No one bore the same burden night after night. This balance built trust, reduced resentment, and created a rhythm that worked. It was, in every sense, a system built by sailors, for sailors. Modern science now proves what pirates knew instinctively. Flexible sleep schedules reduce stress, improve decision-making, and sharpen reaction times. For pirates, these weren't luxuries, they were necessities. In a world where survival often came down to a few seconds of alertness, sleep was as vital as steel. Yet schedules were only part of the secret. The true revolution in pirate sleep came from their choice of bed. Hammocks transformed life at sea, where naval sailors tossed and turned on wooden planks, bruised by every wave. Pirates swung gently in woven cradles that moved with the ship. A rolling wave that would slam a man against a bulkhead in a bunk would instead rock a pirate gently, lulling him into deeper sleep. It was as if the sea itself had become their nursemaid, rocking them to rest. Hammocks solved problems that flat surfaces could never address. Wooden bunks dug into hips and shoulders, creating pressure points that left men sore and restless. Hammocks spread weight evenly, cradling the natural curve of the spine. Back pain, so common among sailors of the age, all but vanished for those who slept suspended. Elevation above the deck also kept pirates dry, away from the dampness that seeped through boards, and out of reach of rats that infested ships in droves. There were practical advantages as well. Hammocks could be rolled up and stored during the day, freeing precious space aboard cramped vessels. Naval bunks were fixed, consuming room whether used or not. Pirates valued flexibility, and hammocks gave them exactly that. They were easy to clean too. A bunk absorbed dirt, sweat and disease, festering until it made men sick. Hammocks could be rinsed in seawater, dried in the sun and used again fresh. And when danger struck, hammocks offered something priceless: speed. At the cry of "all hands on deck," a pirate could leap from his hammock, weapons within arm's reach, ready to fight in seconds. Their weapons, cutlasses, pistols, boarding axes, were never stored far away. They hung from hooks, rested against posts, or were tucked beneath hammocks, wrapped in oiled cloth. It wasn't paranoia, it was survival. The psychology of this arrangement mattered too. Sleeping unarmed in a pirate's world was like leaving your front door unlocked in a city of thieves. A man who knew he could defend himself at a moment's notice slept deeper, calmer, and more peacefully. His nervous system relaxed. The constant tension of vulnerability melted away. Weapons did more than protect. They comforted. Of course, no man can sleep on an empty stomach. Pirates ate with sleep in mind. Their evening meals were hearty, designed to sustain them through the night. Salted meat peats and revided slow-releasing protein preventing hunger pangs before dawn. Hardtack, the infamous rock-hard biscuit, supplied steady carbohydrates that burned throughout the night. Stews, rich and filling, offered warmth, hydration, and a complete mix of nutrients. These meals were more than fuel. They were medicine for rest. Even rum had its place. Taken in small amounts, it acted as a mild sedative, helping men fall asleep faster. Pirates knew the difference between enough and too much. Drunkenness disrupted rest, but a careful sip eased the mind and warmed the body. Spices played their role as well. Ginger calmed seasick stomachs. Pepper aided digestion. These simple additions often meant the difference between a comfortable night's sleep and hours of misery. But the greatest sleep aid of all was the ocean itself. Life at sea meant constant breezes that refreshed the air, sweeping away staleness and filling lungs with oxygen-rich winds. The sea absorbed heat by day and released it at night, keeping temperatures steady and comfortable. Humidity remained at natural, healthy levels. Wooden ships, built with small gaps between planks, breathed constantly, ventilating the air. Where cities stank of smoke and waste, ships smelled of salt and wind. The ocean provided natural white noise. The steady rhythm of waves and wind masked jarring sounds that might have startled men awake. It was a lullaby, consistent and soothing, unlike the chaos of city streets. Without artificial lights, pirates lived by the sun. Their bodies followed natural rhythms, producing sleep hormones with nightfall and waking with dawn. It was, unknowingly, perfect sleep hygiene. Psychologically, the vastness of the sea offered something even deeper. Away from the noise, filth, and chaos of civilization, men found peace. The horizon was endless, the air was pure, and in that simplicity, the mind could rest. Yet all of this, schedules, hammocks, food, air, and weapons, would have meant nothing without one final ingredient: exhaustion. Life aboard a pirate ship was brutally physical. Every task demanded strength and endurance. Raising sails meant heaving massive canvases against the wind. Loading cargo meant wrestling barrels and chests across shifting decks. Repairs were endless. Scraping barnacles, tar-pitching ropes, patching sails, hammering wood. Each task was a workout, and every day was filled with them. Combat training and battle themselves added even more. Pirates practiced with swords, pistols, and axes, building stamina for fights that might last minutes or hours. They fought with weapons that were heavy, awkward, and unforgiving. Their lives depended on being fit enough to swing steel until the enemy was broken or dead. Retirement plans didn't exist. Only strength and skill kept a pirate alive. By nightfall, exhaustion was complete. Not the restless fatigue of modern office work, but deep physical weariness. Muscles ached, lungs burned, and bodies craved recovery. Sleep came easily, pulled by biology's demand to repair and rebuild. Unlike modern workers who lie awake with tired minds but restless bodies, pirates closed their eyes and woo, gone. Social bonds made even this exhaustion easier to bear. Men worked together, shared victories, and endured hardships side by side. That camaraderie created trust, and trust created peace of mind. A crew that labored together slept together, secure in the knowledge that their brothers in arms watched over them. Storms brought days of grueling effort, pushing men to their limits. Calm seas brought lighter routines, offering recovery. This rhythm of intensity and rest aligned perfectly with the body's natural cycles, creating yet another layer of balance. When all of these elements came together, flexible schedules, hammocks, armed comfort, hearty meals, ocean air, physical exhaustion, and strong camaraderie, pirates achieved something rare: perfect sleep in the most dangerous of environments. They had cracked the code centuries before modern science gave it a name. Sleep was not a weakness, it was a weapon. It made them sharper, stronger, faster. It gave them the edge they needed to survive a brutal world. And perhaps, in their rocking hammocks beneath the stars, lulled by the waves, pirates slept more peacefully than many of us do today.